What's going on, my friend? It's Jeff Newpert from ChasingStrength.com. And in today's video, I'm going to answer the question, what would I do if I suddenly, right, air quotes, woke up 20 pounds overweight and had to get off as fast as possible? Okay, so this is going to be a step-by-step thing. We're going to have all the information in this video printed below the video in the video description. That way you don't have to take notes. You can just copy and paste it for yourself, print it out, whatever, okay? So this is, again, what I would do step by step. The very first thing I would do, or step one, is I would own it. Okay, let me explain what I mean. About 6 or 7 years ago, one of my colleagues suddenly dropped about 80 pounds. He was a power lifter, and he was chasing a big squat. I think it was about 800 pounds, if I recall. And but the thing is he was about 5'10", and he could never get below about 260, 265 pounds. I mean, he was round, man. He was strong, but, he was round. So it's that old joke, hey, I want to get in shape. Round is a shape, right? So it was shocking to me. So when he lost the 80 pounds or so, because I hadn't seen him for a couple of years. And so I was just blunt because that's the way we were with each other. I said, hey man, how'd you do it? He goes, it was pretty simple. He said, I talked to and then he named our mutual friend of ours. And he said, our mutual friend said to my friend, he said, dude, you got to own your stuff. Okay. Although he didn't use stuff, he used another S word. I got to keep this PG-13 here. Okay. And that was it, is what he said. So it was like literally something clicked. Okay. In other words, here's the deal. If you're struggling to lose weight, right, or get rid of body fat, you have to identify your excuses, okay, the stories and lies that you tell yourself that are holding you back, keeping you down, and keeping you fat, okay? There's no other nice way to say that, okay? And then what you have to do is you have to get rid of them, okay? Get rid of those stories, those excuses, whatever. Change your stories, all right? So that's step number one of what I would do. Step number two is get the junk food out of the house. I'd go through my pantry, I'd go through my fridge, I'd go through my freezer, everything. And I'd get rid of all the cookies, chips, crackers, soda, ice cream, right? All that stuff, okay? Anything that I could binge on, any super high calorie, high palatable food that I could binge on, it'd go in the trash. Maybe not the trash. Maybe I take it down to the food pantry, okay? So if it's not in the house, right, I can't eat it, at least not immediately and when I'm under duress, like stressed out, okay? So that's number two. Step number three is I would eat a protein-first diet. In other words, the first thing that goes in my mouth for each and every meal is a protein-based product, okay? Meat, poultry, fish, eggs, protein powder. Those are your basic protein sources, okay? And every meal is built around a protein source. Then the other foods that I'm eating, like carbs, okay, yeah, you can eat carbs and still lose weight. Oh my goodness. Yes, my keto friends. Carbs work to lose body fat, okay? I would eat potatoes, sweet potatoes, rice, and of course, green vegetables. I almost said starchy green vegetables, and there are a couple of them like peas, right? But what I meant to say was fibrous green veggies, okay? So cauliflower is not green, but I guess it would count. So broccoli, green beans, asparagus, right? Those types of things. Brussels sprouts, you get the idea. Now, why would I make it a protein first nutrition plan, right? Almost said diet. Don't really like the word diet. Like Garfield says, it's die with a T. And diet actually in Greek means lifestyle. Okay, so it's not something you go on and then come off, right? So here's why protein first. Okay, number one, protein stops hunger. Number two, protein stops cravings for sugary and fatty foods. Number three, protein speeds up your metabolism, okay? Number four, protein speeds up recovery between workouts, all right? In fact, a 2015 research paper done by Dr. Jose Antonio, PhD, and his colleagues, Dr. Antonio is one of the leading researchers on nutrition and protein in the world. He states, and I quote, and we'll put this up here, a high protein diet of 3.4 grams per kilogram per day combined with a heavy resistance training program improves body composition. In other words, improves muscle mass and decreases fat mass in healthy trained men and women. Which brings me to my next point. Step number four, I'd lift heavy. What I mean by heavy? Well, I mean by high force. And how heavy exactly? Well, I'd use a 4 to 6 rep max for my most important lifts, especially if I've been doing a lot of kettlebell ballistics. Many people who do lots of swings are shocked when they inject heavy lifts in the 4 to 6 rep max range into their training. It jacks up their heart rates way more than the swings and snatches, right? And as a result, it increases the calorie demands from their body for recovery, okay? Number 5, or step 5, I would lift explosively. I'd use high power. How explosively? As explosively as possible. Okay, I'd make each and every single rep I do as powerful as possible. No more phoning it in, right? Surviving my reps. You'd be shocked. I almost said surprised, but it's not surprised. I'd be shocked at how many people actually do this. Okay, they do 10 swings or 20 swings, but the last 50% of the swings are just garbage, right? They're just hanging on for dear life, and their power output drops and their form goes to heck in a hamburger. Okay, you may as well just cut those reps off and not even bother doing them. They're that much of a waste of time. Plus, they expose you to injury. Okay, so furthermore, okay, if I'd already been doing a bunch of swings, I'd probably double my rep ranges, okay, or at least increase them by 50%. So, for example, if I've been doing sets of 5, I'd do sets of 10. If I'd been doing sets of 10, I'd do sets of 20, all right? Step 6, I would bias my training. Bias goes in quotes. Now, what does this mean exactly? Well, the truth is most people only do things or the exercises that they like, right? I mean, I think both of us can relate to that. But one T, not two. When it comes to stripping fat from your body, like turpentine on an antique chest of drawers, all right, you have to do the thing that you suck at the most, and you have to do it a lot, okay? And that's because it forces your body to use more energy. In other words, it forces your body to burn more calories, however you want to view it, however you want to say it. For example, okay, I love low rep strength work. That's my bias, right? It's what I do and it's what I'm really good at. So the opposite in my kettlebell training to lose body fat is the higher rep range kettlebell ballistic work. What's that look like? We're talking sets of 10 or more, okay? And I would do a lot of those. Why? Again, because it's not my wheelhouse, it's not my preference, and those are the things I suck at, okay? And as a result, they would gas me a lot. I'd be sucking a lot of wind after those sets. And that sucking a lot of wind, you guessed it, right? That is the telltale sign you're using a lot of energy. Okay. And so for someone who does a lot of swings, right, it would be the opposite. They need to do a lot of heavy strength work. Again, more energy than normal will be required from their bodies, and it will pull that from stored body fat. Step number 7. I just sleep more, okay? Sleeping burns more fat, okay? Sleeping less increases fat stores and stores fat. I know that might be hard to believe, but it's true. I'll leave a link to some research in the video description below, okay? Lack of sleep also increases hunger, and lack of sleep makes you lose fat-free mass, aka also known as muscle tissue, right? Nobody wants to lose muscle. So I'd make sure I was getting 7 hours of sleep, preferably 8 hours of sleep each and every night. Okay, step 8, I'd breathe more. Yes, breathing, okay? Breathing, especially diaphragmatic breathing, using your diaphragm instead of breathing through your chest and your neck region, right? Most people are what we call chest breathers and mouth breathers. So they look like this. So I'd breathe in through my nose and I'd breathe using my diaphragm, which means my belly fills first and then my chest rises, okay? I would do that as much as possible, and I do it particularly before bedtime. Why? Because diaphragmatic breathing reduces stress, okay? Reduces your circulating cortisol levels. Reducing your circulating cortisol levels decreases your stomach fat, okay? Diaphragmatic breathing also activates the parasympathetic nervous system, which is responsible for resting and digesting. And that counters the sympathetic nervous system, which is the fight, flight, or freeze part of your nervous system, okay? That's where most of us spend our days, in the sympathetic nervous system dominant, okay? So also what's really important to note about the diaphragmatic breathing is that high cortisol levels, okay, also suppress your anabolic, which are your muscle building and fat burning hormones, okay? Those, your main 2 hormones are testosterone and growth hormone, and diaphragmatic breathing reduces the cortisol levels, which rebalances and restores your testosterone and growth hormone levels. All right. Okay. Step 9, I train 4 to 6 times a week. Okay. Getting your body to burn fat like bacon, sizzling in a frying pan is no mean feat. It is not easy. Your body is like Scrooge McDuck hoarding his treasure when it comes to holding on to body fat. So you have to look for ways to force it to burn fat without it really caring. Okay. It's like a sneak attack for body fat. And that means you have to make it work more, okay? How you set up your training is up to you. I like contrasting training, hard sessions followed by easy sessions, heavy sessions followed by light sessions, that sort of thing. It makes the body work without burning it out. Okay. And then I keep my training sessions short and focused. Okay. About 20 to 30 minutes, no more. Step 10, I'd prioritize recovery. I'd also make sure I stayed injury-free by prioritizing my restoration programming, my mobility work, whatever you want to call it, since I know my body would tighten up from the extra more than normal use. So if you've ever had an injury from increased or overuse, okay, you know it's not fun, it's not pretty, right? It's better to head that nonsense off at the proverbial pass, if you know what I mean. So 5 to 15 minutes of restoration work each and every training session every day, 6, maybe 7 days a week, all right? So you might be thinking, yeah, but Jeff, wouldn't that take your total workout time up to about 45 minutes? Possibly, right? Or I could alternate hard training days with easy restoration days and do even more restoration work on those easy days, right? Make sense? So how long would this whole process take? How long would it take to get those 20 pounds off? And the answer is as long as it takes, okay? Or as long as it took, right? If you want to view it from present or past tense, okay? But probably no more than 12 weeks. Maybe if I had to stretch it out, I'd say 16 weeks, okay? Depending on my recovery, if my recovery was poor. So what programs would I use? Well, I would either use a 4-day-a-week single double kettlebell mix or a 6-day-a-week double kettlebell program. If you want to check those programs out, I'll leave them in the link below this video, okay? Or I'll leave the links, in the description below this video, all right? Hopefully you found this video helpful. If you did, click the like button, smash the subscribe button, share it with a friend, leave me a comment section. Man, I'm all over the place today. Leave me a comment in the comment section below this video, all right? Until next time, my friend, stay strong.